Alright you guys, I'm just going to show you a real simple method for setting your deer eyes. This is a whitetail deer. This one is a little different just because we had to come up and take some of the form out of here. Normally you're not going to have to do that, but we had to because of this. Had this drop tine in there, okay? But normally you're not going to have to take that out of your form. The first thing I do before I set my eyes in here, you want to make sure this thing is level, okay? And the easiest way to do it, you want to make absolutely sure, is just take a little bit of black right here in the corner of the eye. Just a little bit right here. You just darken up that yellow. And then you can take a level and go right across those two front corners right here and here. And just see if you're level, and it looks like we're pretty damn good right there. Okay, so now that I know that my form's level, I've got them level this way as well. I'm going to take my eyes, set them in there, and make sure that they fit properly. The eyes I use are, these are the meter IQs with the extra brown in the front. You could order them without and have the white all the way around. The brown in the front, this does go to the front here, okay? And if you're not sure when you're looking at an eye, it might be kind of hard to tell on this profile. The flat is back and the bulge is forward. The corneal bulge is forward. So if this didn't have this brown here, if it was white all the way around, that's how you're going to tell as far as which way this goes in your eye. But these are the Joe Meter IQ. There's not the liquid lens. These are the old style ones. They've recolored them since then, but it's the 32 millimeter Joe Meter eye. I'm just going to kind of put this pupil in here level to make sure that they're sitting in there properly. And it looks like they're about right. Most of your deer are going to be sculpted coming out of the head at the proper angle and the proper cant down. Good rule of thumb is 45 degrees coming out of the head this way and about 8 to 10 degrees down this way. Okay. So before I start setting these though, I just want you to take a look at these pictures here. This is what we're going to be looking at. All right, so you want to get some really good close-up reference photos, okay? Side pictures, front pictures, showing the frontal vision here, the opening, the rear vision. And this is a cool diagram here. I picked this up on the internet. I'm not even sure where I got it, but it kind of breaks down the shape of this eye. Where the pupil sits in here, the front corner, the high point of the eye, this back corner, and where the low point of the eye is right here, all in relation to that pupil. If I was to draw that out, it would look like this. There's that eye. This came up a little fast. Okay, there's my front corner. The high point of the eye is on the edge of the pupil right here. Where this thing turns in the back corner I call it. It's right there at the top of the pupil that way. And then when it makes this big swoop down right here is where it switches direction and goes back up that way. Those 4 points will give you the different shape. If you follow these 4 points, though, you'll get a good looking eye right off the bat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to seat these in critter clay. This is what I use here for my eyes. You can get critter clay from any of the supply companies. what I'm going to do is just put a little bit in the back of this eye. It's just going to tack it and just to catch it into that back of that form. I'll kind of make a little point in it like that. Okay. And with my pupil level, that's going to go horizontal with the ground. This is my front part of the eye. So I get that pupil pretty much level. Now I'm going to really seat it tight. Once we got it pretty tight, then I want to make sure that's level. Can you adjust that light on that like you did before so it's not... Yeah. You see that pupil in there going level with the ground? You get it pretty level this way, and if you look at it from the front, it'll almost look like it's tipped up right here in the front a little bit. Okay. So then before I put my lids on, I'm going to get my other eye set in the mannequin just like that. Same thing, just a little bit of critter clay. All right. Get that level with the ground. Right there. And seat it. You can just sit here and kind of rock this thing back and forth until all that back of that eye gets tight. Okay. Now I want to stand on the front of it and make sure both of these eyes are the same. Pupils, everything. And rather than just one flashlight, I use two of them. This one's a little kicked up in the front. Okay, they're pretty level there now. Level going just like this. Those pupils have got to be in line right together like this. You can't have one pupil up here and one down here. Unless his head was turned, you could. But if he's out looking straight ahead like this, both those pupils got to be right in line with each other. Right straight across. Okay. So now that we got our eyes set, those marks I was telling you about that are on that little diagram there, I'm going to put them right on the mannequin. Okay. This will really make things so simple for you guys. This is already marked. This is the front corner. Okay. The high point is right at the edge of the pupil, right there. The front edge of that pupil comes straight up. That's the high point. That back corner is on top of the pupil, right here. And the low point is at the back of the pupil, right here. Keep in mind, there's part of this mannequin missing, okay? There should be some form here, but like I say, we had to cut it out. So it may take a little bit more clay here just to fill that out to level before I put my lid on. But I told you I had to do it because of this horn, this side. Front corner. Move this just a little bit. Right at the front edge of that pupil is the high point. On top of the pupil this way is the back corner, and at the back of the pupil straight down is the low point. Those are all the places where the clay is going to change directions, okay? First thing I'm going to do is just fill that socket that we had to remove the form. You're not going to have to do this on a regular mannequin. This is just something we had to do on this one. It was just kind of a weird drop tine there that was in the way. There's just no other way around it. You know, to get it cut to where it had to bend, we would have cut this drop tine off. I don't think the customer would have liked that. I'm just trying to build back this mannequin. This other side. Kind of a cool little drop tine he's got there. Kind of neat. Okay, so I just basically filled out the sockets now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll out a little roll of clay, and it's going to come from this front corner down and up to that back corner. You won't need very much. But you're going to want to do these both at the same time and back and forth, rather than do one complete eye. So I'll roll out a ball of clay like that. I'll make another one to match it. A little too big. This will help you do it with your symmetry. The amounts and everything, okay? That's pretty close. So I'm gonna roll this out. And I tapered that one end like that, okay? That's gonna be the front. A little too skinny. Pretty close, okay? So that front taper, that's gonna go to the front of the eye. And what I'll do here is I'll just start right at this front corner, but I'm going to leave a little bit of pocket right here. That's where the carbuncle is going to go. That carbuncle is that little triangle of skin in front of the eye. So anyway, I'll tack this here. I'm going to come down till I hit this low point mark. It's just coming down. As soon as it hits that low point, it shifts real fast. And it comes up like this. Nice and rounded all the way up like that till I get to that back corner mark. All right, knock it off just like that. And then I'll come in like this. All I'm doing now is just kind of pressing this to the glass, filling that void, and then this is just going to come down nice and soft. Got a little foam in there. And you can see back here, I've made it pretty tight. And that goes with that picture I was showing you where that deer can see you back here. Keep this nice and tight. You get it that close, go ahead and get your other side on. Start at that front corner, leave a little bit of a gap for our carbuncle. Bring this down, hits that low point, shifts really fast, and it's going to go up, up to our back corner mark. I'll knock it off right there. Okay. Get this touch to your glass, and then just softly bring this down. You can see I spend a lot of time out here in the front when I'm doing my eye work, rather than the side. Okay, so you want to look at it from the front and see if both your lids look the same. There. You get them pretty close. Then we're going to put our top lids on. Our top lids are going to be a little heavier. be putting this on, all this. Again, get 2 balls the same size, a little bigger. We're close. Now we're gonna roll them out. I'm gonna taper that front corner. Pretty close. Okay, so I'll take that tapered end of it. And what I do here is I'm gonna go like this right away with that clay. Just like that. This is gonna go to my front mark right here. I kind of press it in with my thumb. And it's gonna go up to that high point right there. And from the high point, it switches direction, and it's going to come back to this back corner mark right here. Blend this on. Okay, now the next thing you're going to want to do is this edge right here. Get this close to the glass. This.
That's really cool. I like
Like that. Get this tight to the glass right here. If you want to look at it from the front, just see what I did to that. Okay, so now we just need to roll this clay over here. Just nice and soft. Just bring this over. Starting to look pretty good. Okay, you can look at that from the front as well. Get the other lid on. Same thing, but you can do this with your clay right from the get-go, just like that. Come in here, that front mark, that. It's gonna go up until it hits that high point right there is where that changes direction. You can see that right here to there. And then to my back mark on top of that pupil like that. And just blend this on. Okay, so I'll go back to the front of it again. And all this edge right here, I'm gonna get this tight to the glass. All right, like this. Just like so. The rest of this, you're just gonna blend this over. Drop line's kind of in the way. But you can see I've done 90% of this just with my fingers, no tools, not even any water. Just touching, just nice and soft. Get this tight back here. when you look at that deer from the front, you should just be able to see glass and just air. There's no clay there. Same thing on this side, just glass and then just air, okay? And you can look at it from this other picture here. Hard to see on this kind, but yeah, you can. Stand back a little bit here. You can see that deer. If you're standing right here, that deer can see you. Okay? You see that on that right there? Okay? That's got him pretty close. But the only thing that's off is his frontal vision. And if you look at him right here, these need to be opened up a little more. Just opened up. They're a little kind of squinty right there in the front. So all I do is I just knock out a little bit of clay in the front. Come in like this. Just kind of go right like so. And you can just take your thumb, right like this, and just roll it over tight to that mannequin like that. Okay. That opens up that frontal vision. That rest. I'll wet my thumb here a little bit, and I'm going to get rid of that ridge now. Come in just like this, and just knock out that ridge like that. Make sure that high point is right there, that edge of that pupil, front edge of that pupil. This needs to come out a little bit. Then you bump that. Yeah, it's starting to look pretty good now. Do the same thing from the other side. And knock out that front part right here. It's like that. Your thumb right here, and just roll this out right to the mannequin, just like that. Then all I have to do is just knock out that ridge with my thumb. Okay, I'm gonna clean it up with an artist brush now. And some water. Get my glass cleaned up. You can really soften this up now, make this nice. Other side. Just take a spray bottle with some water in it. The only other thing I have left to do there is to cut out is tear duct. And I'll just come in with a little tucking tool like this, back at this angle. Just like that. That's all you need to do. Okay. Drop tine is in the way. She just cut that drop tine off, huh? And another thing I'll do then is I'll just take a little bit more critter clay. And I'm just going to make that a little fuller. You see these pictures right here? Look how full this is right here. I'm going to take a little clay and put it right there. I'll just take something like this. Just a little roll like that is all I'm going to do. But that's going to ride right in front of that tear duct slot I just cut. I'm going to come in right like here. And just follow that edge of that. Break off what I don't need here. And I'll blend it over onto the mannequin like this. And see, it really adds that fullness to it. Nice. And another thing too is when I go to tuck this tear duct, when I mount it, I'll tuck my skin in there and I can softly push this over that way. And that'll help seal that shut. Just gives a little bit more fullness there. Same thing on this side. Just follow that top edge of that tear duct. And you can sit here and really just tweak this in if you want. This is about as close as I get before I put my skin on. When my skin is on here, that's when I really get it dialed in. But right now this is close enough that we can put the skin on here. There's a couple of different ways I've seen you guys do this, and I've done it both ways. It doesn't really matter. You'll see there's an eyelid crease on these deer. Let's go back over to these pictures. This eyelid crease, sometimes it's real deep and it fades out. Sometimes it doesn't go in as deep. You can hardly see it here, okay? And as you look at that deer from the front, you don't see that eyelid crease until that high point of the eye right here. It's there, it's here. But the reason you don't see it is this is deep. It's pushed in that way, that lid's that real far in that way. I put it in after I mount it. You'll get your skin on here, get your eye all tucked and everything. And then I'll just take a little tiny tool or even a T-pin. And as I'm going around loosening up the skin, you'll see that that eyelid will show up in the skin. You'll be able to see where it belongs. And I'll just take this pin and push it in to where it's telling me where it needs to go. You can also come in with a T-pin like this and kind of just dig this out. What this does is just going to give you a little bit of a gap where I can tuck in my apron without disturbing so much of that clay. Basically just making kind of a tuck groove. Okay. Our caruncle's gonna sit right in there. Just do it one more time. You could look at it from the front, side. Make sure your symmetry is pretty cool. Another trick you can do too, if you're trying to get your symmetry, is grab a mirror. Might be kind of hard with this drop kind of in the way, but you throw a mirror over here on the other side. Now that other side just became this eye. You know what I mean? It's kind of a cool way to check symmetry as well. So that's it. It's just a real easy way to set a whitetail eye.